Hello, my name is Danica and welcome to my channel. So I am currently on a creative journey with YouTube. I've been calling it my next creative project. And although YouTube is my absolute favorite social media platform, I've always loved YouTube. About 6 months ago, I decided to stop watching creators on here, and this is why. I am wanting to tell stories, share pieces of myself and pieces of my life, but through videos and music and words. So I've been trying to learn and teach myself how to do that on YouTube, how to be a storyteller. And let me just tell you, it has already been a huge journey. My videos are nowhere near what I want them to be, but I'm genuinely excited every single day to continue learning and continue growing and continue to teach myself and figure this out. So in order to get the full picture of this story and really get into why I stopped watching creators on YouTube, let's start about 14 years ago when I first created this channel. I started watching YouTube back in the early days. I have always loved YouTube. I love long form content and I love the creativity that long form videos allow for creators and for people. I also just love the talent and all the inspiration that's on here. I first started watching YouTube for all the musicians and the singers and the songwriters. I followed so many of them, loved so many of them, went and saw a few of them on tour, in concerts, stuff like that. Just genuinely loved the music space on here, and that's actually why I decided to create my own channel. I wanted to be able to post my own music and my own songs, my singing, my covers, my original music. So that's why this channel was originally created when I was 14 years old. I thought being a musician on YouTube would be the coolest thing in the whole entire world. It was the biggest dream of mine for a really long time, and honestly, I still think it would be really cool. I'm not saying that dream is dead. It's still here. I love sharing music on here. It's something I'm going to continue to do. However, what I want on YouTube has definitely changed quite a bit. It's taken me a pretty long time to figure out what I want this channel to be, what I want it to look like, how I want my videos to come together, and what I want to talk about. So while I was trying to figure all this out, figuring out what I want to create on YouTube, over the last few years, I've watched a lot of advice videos on YouTube, a lot of videos about what kind of content to create, how to grow a channel, how to monetize your channel, all those different things. I have watched hours of advice videos, and a piece of advice that I heard pretty often was to watch other creators on YouTube and then take their successful ideas and make it your own. So basically, watch other creators, look at what videos have been successful for them, what videos gained a lot of traction, a lot of views, take those video ideas and then make them your own and put them on your own channel. Now look, I don't necessarily think that this is a horrible piece of advice. I think that other creators and content in general can be a huge source of inspiration. But what I started to notice for myself personally is that watching this content and trying to figure out, what was successful on here and then making it my own, instead of being helpful for my creativity, it started to put up a lot of creative roadblocks. It felt like I was just running into myself over and over. Like the creativity wasn't actually there. I wasn't coming up with things myself, so I was just like hitting a wall constantly. It didn't feel right. It almost felt like I was watching other creators and taking too much of them and then trying to put it into myself somehow, like take their life and their vibe and their success. They're more successful than me. How can I be more like them? How can I put their interests and their personality into myself? It's like almost embarrassing to admit this, but that's seriously how it started to feel, watching all this different type of content and thinking that in order to be successful or in order to build any kind of channel, in order to be on YouTube at all, I had to fit something specifically. I had to look like someone else, not even just to be successful on here, but just to exist on here at all. That's really how it felt. So eventually I started to pick up on this pattern and I decided to take a huge step back in order to find my own creativity and my own inspiration again. I had to stop not just watching creators on here, but completely caring what successful content creators were doing on here, because all it was doing when I would watch those videos was making my brain feel foggy. It was just like clouding all my own creativity and my own insights. It's super important to me that everything creative that I do is as authentic to me as possible. I actually published my first book of poetry about a year and a half ago, and I did something really similar at the time. So when I was putting this book together and I was writing these different poems and, you know, just creating the whole thing, I self-published it through Amazon. It was a really cool experience, but I remember during the process, I decided to stop reading any other poetry. So I wasn't reading, you know, poetry books or following like poet accounts on Instagram, which is stuff I really love. I love other poets, I love writers, I love reading poetry books and books in general, but I decided to stop because every time I would read poetry while I was writing my own book, I started to question myself and my creativity. I started to question how I was writing, and I started to feel like I needed to write more similar to someone else in order for my book to be good, instead of just allowing my book to be fully me and fully authentic to me. So anyway, I took a step back then, and I've had to take a step back now on this creative project on YouTube, the videos that I'm trying to make. Now look, before you think I am saying that I've completely jumped off social media and I don't consume any content, that's not true. I'm not saying that at all. I still watch and support creators that I've watched for a really long time, but my intention when I watch these videos is very different. I don't allow myself to watch creators and videos and advice videos with the intention of finding inspiration or for the purpose of creating something out of what they've already done. And I especially don't watch videos anymore on how to grow a YouTube channel because honestly, I've just watched way too many of those, and I really think the only way for me to feel good about what I'm doing on here is to do it myself with my own thoughts, ideas, my own process, and just see what happens. My honest thoughts are, if I want YouTube to be a creative space for me, the best place to find inspiration is going to be inside myself. And genuinely, I think this can apply to every creator. Every creative person out there who is working on a creative project, the best creative inspiration is going to come within yourself. There is so much noise out in the world, and it can get really confusing trying to decipher what's our own authentic creative voice and what's someone else's. What is true to us and what maybe came from another creator. Again, I don't think watching other creators is bad, but I think going to other creators to find our own inspiration can make our creativity feel just really cloudy and fuzzy and not very good. So during this creative process on YouTube, it's really important to me that I pay close attention to what kind of content I'm consuming and why I'm consuming it. And I do everything I can to make sure that my ideas come from me, or at least the creative process that happens is truly coming from within inside myself. One thing I'm actually working on right now to help with this process is this room I'm currently sitting in. I think it's so important to have a dedicated creative space where you can sit and think and write. And I do have this dedicated space, but honestly, I do not like this room. We moved into this house over a year ago, and I had every intention to make this room into something like super cozy and welcoming and just somewhere where I can really be creative and find that inspiration that I so desperately want to find all the time, but I just honestly haven't gotten around to it, haven't been able to yet. So it's on my list, it's high on my priority list. I really want to make this room something like cozy and welcoming and a place where I want to go every single day and write out ideas, film things, put things together, edit, and just feel like it's a really cozy space for that. So I'm going to show you what my room looks like right now. It's honestly too bright and pretty sterile, and like I've been saying, I want it to be warm and inviting and just a place where I really want to go every single day. So first step, I'm going to be painting it green. I'm trying to decide on what color green, and I'm also going to be getting a new couch, new desk, new furniture. I don't know, I have lots of ideas, but looking at these paint colors is a start in the right direction. I do plan to put together some videos about me redoing this room. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to make these videos like creative and also talk about different things, but make it also about redoing this room. So if you want to see what ends up happening with this room and how I put those videos together, be sure to subscribe to my channel. So to wrap things up today, just a reminder that your creative ideas are going to be better than anyone else's. And you can find inspiration on your own that will be more authentic to you than if you try to find it by watching someone else. Honestly, maybe I should make a video on how I find my own creative inspiration and how I personally make my creative projects come to life. I don't know, we'll see. But for today, that is all. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.